couple of months into the trip. Am I still afraid of Crocs? No, very wary of Crocs. But I can manage the risk. I just don't go in the water, particularly anywhere that's not a designated swimming area. You just don't do it. It'd be crazy. And so it just becomes something that it's part of life. A bit like, you know, all the stuff to do with our health. We don't necessarily think about it every day. And as long as you take the right precautions, hopefully bad stuff won't happen to you. But you gotta take the precautions. Morning walk, episode 100, and this morning we're in a pretty special place, that's for sure. This is Maguk in Kakadu National Park. Come for a walk and check this out because it is absolutely extraordinary. Let's go. When we're heading out on this trip around Australia, I think the thing that made me the most nervous was the thought of crocodiles. And now, like 2 months later, having spent a good chunk of time up here in the Northern Territory, I wouldn't say that has diminished at all, but I guess at least I feel like you can manage it because you just don't go in the water. In all of the Northern Territory, the places that are really safe are generally managed, so they can't guarantee you 100% that there are no Crocs in the water here, but they spend a lot of time and effort making sure that there's very little chance. Take this for example. You've got this absolutely gorgeous little waterhole, right? Absolutely beautiful little empty billabong. Make for perfect swimming on a 40-degree day, wouldn't it? But I'm not going to go too close to that edge because there could be a croc there. And I don't really want to be breakfast. Basically what that means is everywhere where you've got these touristy swimming spots, and there's not that many. Like here in Kakadu, you've probably got like half a dozen spots in all of Australia's largest national park, which Kakadu is 20,000 square kilometres. Half a dozen spots where you can swim safely knowing that there are no Crocs. And that's because, they put traps all the way back down the river towards, the main junction with the larger creek systems. Going back like 10 k's, they survey, they put these floating balls in the water because Crocs are curious to come up and chomp something, and that'll sort of indicate whether there's been a Croc in the area. So they do a lot of work to make sure that you don't have Crocs in this space. But as you'll see from the signs, all care but no responsibility taken. You can see here, like, very rocky, shallow. In the wet season it'd be easy for a Croc, but very hard right now. So given all the management stuff they've got going on here, chances to running into a big fella probably aren't that high. But still, even this looks beautiful, doesn't it? But it's not the official swimming place, so I'm limiting my risk and I'm not going there. You shouldn't either. Come with me. Here it is. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Look at that. Yesterday we came swimming here. A few people, it wasn't crazy, it wasn't that many people. And you can see why they need to manage this because it's such a perfect swimming hole. People would swim here, whether they're Crocs or not. So if you don't want to have damage, you need to make sure there are no Crocs in here. It's incredibly deep, in fact. There's a rock jump about halfway along this wall where you jump from about 8 meters and just into the deepest, most amazing blue water. Now, there's a difference between taking risks and being cautious and taking precautions. And I guess, yesterday I did an 8 meter cliff jump into Maguk and it was beautiful. So yeah, there's some risk involved in that, isn't there? But before I jumped, I did a good swim down underneath where I'd be landing, you know, swam down 3 or 4 meters. I couldn't see anything below, marked out my landing spot, and that was that. So it's possible to take risks, but limit your downside, limit the chance of injury or death or losing money or losing your job or your friends just by taking sensible precautions. Because ultimately, you know, we all need to take risks at some point in our life. We need to get out of our comfort zone. That's where the growth really happens. It's like going traveling. You got to go traveling in order to get out of your comfort zone, learn so much, but take traveler's insurance. Even on this walk this morning, I love walking solo. I'm out here by myself, like nobody around, but I still, you know, took a little radio, which I could call back to my wife if need be. I've got an emergency beacon in my backpack. I've got water, snake bite kit, first aid kit. Like I'm prepared, right? That's taking sensible precautions. It means I don't have to not do the awesome things that carry a little bit of risk with them. I'm just making sure that I'm avoiding the worst case scenario. I'm not going swimming in a croc-infested creek. Take precautions. You got to do it for yourself, right? Because nobody is going to do it for you. It's like whether it's making sure that you don't put yourself in harm's way with a croc, or taking the precaution of not eating too much junk food so you don't get fat. Not that being fat is the be all and end all, but the health consequences of it are really tough, right? More about being healthy. Nobody can take the precaution except you. So always take sensible precautions. Not so it stops you living life, but just so you know you're going to make it through into the next day. There's too many beautiful places like this you got to come and discover. And if you're not around for it, that would be a shame. Whatever you're getting up to today, that was a great one. I'll see you next time on the morning walk. Thanks for joining me at Maguk in Kakadu. Incredible! Woo!